In this edition of Our Power, our out-of-the-box team pays a visit to Peter Angelos. Angelos heads up one of the most recognized law firms in the country. He's a major player and power broker in the political arena. And, oh yeah, he's the chairman and CEO of Major League Baseball's Baltimore Orioles. To say the son of Greek immigrant parents is a shining example of a true American success story is like saying Jack Nicholson can act a little bit. For 36 years, Peter Angelos has been building his Baltimore-based legal empire, spending most of his time representing consumers in products liability, personal injury, and professional negligence cases. His breakthrough case came in the early 80s when labor leaders hired him to represent thousands of asbestos workers. He was and is at the forefront of the fight with manufacturers to compensate workers and their families. Workers who either died or now suffer disease due to prolonged exposure to asbestos. Angelos is one of the reasons workers are safer today than they were years ago. Today, the law offices of Peter G. Angelos, with more than 80 lawyers and a staff of 300, is the lead firm in Maryland's lawsuit against the tobacco industry and handles many other high-profile cases. When you're in the spotlight to the degree Angelos is, it's hardly surprising to suggest he has his fans and his detractors. But one thing that is undeniable is his affinity for working families. True, his firm has been compensated well for the representation of union workers. But let's not forget, this is a man who did dishes in his father's restaurant and went to night school in pursuit of his degree.
There's a lot of misunderstanding in this country about labor unions because of the propaganda promulgated by those who oppose labor unions, because through labor unions, working men and women get their fair share of the American economy. There are those in the American economy, particularly the top group, that don't want to give the average person, the working person, their fair share. And clearly, all the economists historically will tell you, when the average person, the working person, gets a fair share, everybody benefits.
Angelos practices what he preaches, but his reasoning behind his preference for all union work extends beyond giving workers a fair shake. He's been involved in enough projects and developments to know there is no substitute for quality work.
The IBEW easily can say, when we do your work, you get a first-class professional job. And when you're doing electrical work, it's critical that it be done correctly for a number of critical reasons. One, it's safe when it's done properly, and it can be unsafe when it's done improperly or shoddily. And we do everything union, not just because we're aware of where we came from and where our loyalties lie, but when we own this building and a number of other buildings. And I wouldn't think of having anyone do the electrical work except a member of the IBEW or a contractor who employs members of IBEW locals. We wouldn't allow anybody in here but that kind of a contractor.
Perhaps the most visible part of the Angelos empire is the Baltimore Orioles baseball club. When Major League Baseball held an auction in New York for the bankrupt team in 1993, it was Peter Angelos and his team of investors that saved the club for the city of Baltimore, purchasing it for a then record $173 million.
So I went up there, and before you know it, I had a group of investors that I'd put together, and we went up there and we were involved in the auction, and finally we bid the team in. We went $10 million over our budget, and I recall one of the investors saying, well, we're $10 million over the budget. What are we going to do about that? I said, I don't know, I haven't thought about that, but we'll worry about that later. And we were able to work our way through that problem, and we took over the team.
The first 4 years of the Angelos era were successful. The last 8 have been a struggle. Angelos says he spends everything that comes in and then some on the ball club, and he wants to win more than anyone.
It's all about winning or losing. I mean, you get totally engrossed in it. Like they won last night, oh, I feel better today. They lose tonight, that tomorrow I'm in a funk, I'm depressed. It's a pressure cooker, you know, it's crazy. There's a great focus on an individual who's referred to as an owner in baseball. And if he wins, he's a great guy. And if he loses, he's not a great guy, he's a pretty bad guy. And that's tough to take when generally, on a daily basis, I get a lot of approval and appreciation from the people I represent. So this is a totally different situation.
One thing that even Major League Baseball has in common with the building trades is the respect for unionism. Of course, the superstars make headlines for the kind of money they receive, but for every superstar, there's plenty of other players who don't even approach that kind of money. And let's not forget, their careers can be short, very short. So making what they can while they can is one of the reasons there's the union.
Beltre lines it to right field, and Gibbons with a diving try, and he's out, he got it!
Orioles right fielder Jay Gibbons.
Well, I think the importance of a union is it's, you know, almost for everybody to know what's going on. You know, it's like one big family here in baseball. I know I want all my teammates, I'm the rep, I want all my teammates to know what's going on constantly, you know, what's going on in baseball and, you know, the rules, whatever, and just so everybody's informed and just to feel like more of a family, and, you know, just so to make sure everybody has a say too. If somebody wants to come up to me with a suggestion, you know, I can give it to somebody else, and, you know, everybody's allowed to union meetings and everybody's allowed to talk and everybody has a voice, and I think that's a big thing.
With that voice in how things run, also comes a responsibility to do your part. Whether you wear a hard hat or, yes, even a major league batting helmet, it's all about being a professional. Sam Perlazzo is the manager of the ball club.
You got to be a professional, there's no question. I think as a ball club progresses, it's because we act as professional and we do things on a consistent basis. We have guys that, you know, go out every day, they lead every day, and you sit there and you see that, and it makes you feel good, and it shows the other ball club. And what you do is, if you got somebody that's not motivated and not going good, then you try to make a change on your club, you know, just like you would any place else. If this guy's pulling you down, then you have to make a change.
Orioles coach Rick Dempsey played in the majors for 24 years and is the MVP of the 1983 World Series.
You either care about winning or you don't. You either care about being the best or you don't. There's no in between. It's not just okay. If you're just going to be out there to be okay, you shouldn't be there.
In baseball, it's the World Series. In law, it's a courtroom victory. And in the construction industry, it's a battle over market share. A battle in which every brother and sister plays a role.
That's your chosen profession. Well, then one has to be proud of it, one has to persevere, one has to deal with the contentions of those who also claim to be electricians, who don't have the degree of skill or training that the IBEW members have, of which they should be proud, because there's nobody better than them in that field. And that's a pretty strong statement to be able to make, and they should, as I said, persevere. In the end, that kind of individual and that kind of a group will prevail.
Our sincere thanks to Peter Angelos, the Baltimore Orioles, and to Major League Baseball. For IBEW Our Power, I'm Tamika Pumphrey. See you next time.